Good evening and welcome to another exciting meeting of the Charlton Water Sewer Commission. Today is July 9th, 2018. It's about 6:33 p.m. and we'll start our meeting. Oh, first of all, we have the Commissioners' Public Forum. Is there anyone who has anything to say before we start our meeting? No? No?
Would you guys like that?
Well, actually, we shouldn't even be here possibly, we're not on the agenda. I'm Sharon Moore, this is my husband Terry Moore, and we had a concern that I think you guys are aware of about the Buffyville water project and the possible impact on private wells.
Yep. Now's the chance to talk about it, so.
Okay.
You guys come on in.
Wow. This isn't the way it used to be in the old days.
Okay, what are your concerns with it?
Well, we're just concerned that I know we have to get water for Charlton. We understand that. We aren't saying, oh, don't do it in our neighborhood. What we're saying is that, we're all private wells there, of course, like everybody is. We're surrounded by Oxford. And if by any chance, either immediately or down the line, if this was successful and you were able to get a gazillion gallons a day out of the wells, we're concerned about how that might affect our wells. Is it possible that it would affect the aquifer and that would then lower how much water we're getting out of our wells? And where our other concern is whether putting wells there, I don't know how the aquifers run. Is it possible that the plume of pollution from ExxonMobil could be sucked in our direction?
Well, I think that's all a possibility. I think Peter will probably want to say, address some of your concerns. Do you know if the wells you have and any of your neighbors have bedrock wells? Or are they in shallow gravel wells? Or?
No, they're pretty much artesian wells, I
Yeah,
think.
they're artesian well. We're
They're
down
deep
200
wells.
feet.
Okay, so that might still be a different source of water, but Peter or Russ?
I'd like to, if I
go
might,
ahead.
Paul, through the chair. I appreciate you guys coming in this evening. I did read your letter that you wrote. Very well-put letter. I understand that you'd like to be involved in the process as it transpires.
Well, I think that what I'm really saying, Russell, is that we would like some assurance that, if anything bad happened, in the next year, in the next 10 years, whenever, the meteor hits our house and we die and our kids have to sell the house, that the well's going to be good. And if it's not good, that the town will make some kind of an adjustment for that neighborhood.
Well, as you may or may not know, just to sort of dive into that a little bit, wells are always a tricky subject because today they can be good, tomorrow they can be bad. Have you guys tested your wells already?
We had it tested actually just last year.
Okay.
We've had our fingers crossed for 45 years now. So
Yeah.
far, so good.
That's good. That's good to hear that you actually have tested your well, because a lot of people don't. They don't know what they're
It's
drinking.
expensive.
Well,
So,
we had a whole new
Yeah.
system put in, so we had to do the whole thing. We had the,
We had a problem with manganese and iron, and
Yep.
we'd always had that problem, but it had gotten worse, so
And what
we
was the
just
other
had to,
thing radon. We had to have
Radon,
a radon
yeah.
and stuff like that. So
it looks
we've
like
got
the
a-
Starship Enterprise in our cellar now.
so what we're actually trying to do, and, one of the job of everyone who sits in this chair is to exactly take care of that situation for the town in the future moving forward, and trying to get residents clean, clear water without the arsenic radon, so you don't have to filter in your home. That's the goal. That's what we're looking for, that source. We're not even close to being there yet with actually pulling the water out of the ground, as later in the meeting, I'm sure Peter's going to get into this evening and talk about how we're investigating the possibility of that, and when it
I know
gets
this is
there.
very early in the process.
Absolutely, and, from your letter, I see that you want to be involved in the process to know where it's going, and then talk about what's going to happen in the future when we do get there. And by all means, if, we get to certain checkpoints, we'd be happy to send you a little invite and say, we're going to be discussing this at the
Well,
next
we
meeting.
actually came back from vacation, and we walk over the dam, and we live right by the dam there. And we thought, well, geez, they're putting in a nice new path for us to walk down here. It's beautiful. I mean, it's wide, it's nice, it's all trimmed. And then, we found out that it really wasn't for us personally, but So anyway, we were just concerned, like I say, we understand about the water and people on Worcester Road there and things like that, having problems with wells, and everybody needs water, and so, like I say, but, we want to know how it's gonna impact us also, and things
And
like that.
you guys don't know that yet, and I understand that, that's down the road, but I guess what we're looking for is just an assurance that if there's a problem with our wells in that neighborhood, the town will take responsibility for fixing that problem. And it's not gonna just be us hanging out to dry,
Only if the town was found to be responsible for your well having a problem.
Well, sure, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't just be one well, it would be,
Oh, sure.
wells in the
Yeah,
neighborhood. But if there was a problem at some point with the wells in the neighborhood, we're surrounded by Oxford, so piping from Heritage School down to us is pretty darn tricky. I don't know what the town would be able to do. I just want to have it on your radar, I guess.
It's a good
That
point.
it's a neighborhood that's got some concerns. And most people don't know about it. When we've talked to our neighbors, they don't know what's going on. And as soon as they hear that test wells are being done, it's the first thing everybody thinks of is, yikes, what's that going to do to my well?
Yep. Natural reaction, and we'd be more than happy to keep you guys posted, and if we're gonna be lucky enough to continue in a direction, we'll definitely reach out to you guys if you wanna leave your contact info with Sue, and,
Okay,
you know.
okay, very good. Thank you.
That's
That's
good.
really all we're
Thanks a lot.
concerned about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for coming in.
And that wasn't a path, so
Yeah, it's not a nature trail, apparently. It's a very nice nature trail.
I'd run into the same situation on Eaton Ave in Auburn. As soon as I got a well digger in there for a house, all the neighbors said the wells are gonna run dry because I was taking it, and it turned out it didn't really happen to anybody, but I can appreciate their concern. And I'm surprised that there's only one person at this time, but because we haven't proceeded too far with it yet. But it certainly is a legitimate concern. And do you have anything to say that you didn't get a chance to say? Well, we still got the subject open?
I think if we find a possible source there, it's 3 to 5 years to develop that, and part of that development is doing monitoring wells around the entire area to make sure that what we do in our long-term pump test doesn't negatively affect the aquifer or the surrounding residents, so.
Yeah.
If we're lucky enough to find a potential source, then that just starts that whole process moving forward, so. Definitely, it's not gonna be something that's gonna happen. If we say there's water available, it's not gonna happen in 6 to 12 months. It's gonna be a long, arduous process, working through the DEP, making sure that everybody's best interests are protected, not just ours.
Rob,
And the
you
rules,
can add?
the rules and regulations of DEP, when you do site a well and you go through the pump test and all that, it also includes doing the monitoring system to see if in fact there is an impact. But just to be clear, there's 3 possible locations of water. Surface, then you've got the gravel pack that just comes within the overburden, and then you've got the true rock well. And there are 3 different sources. Of course, one may have an impact on another over a long period of time, but you're not going to see it very quickly, if you see it at all.
And they're in bedrock, they said, and.
They're in bedrock,
we're-
right?
We're gonna be
Most of them are artesian.
above that, for where we're looking right now, and I
Right.
assume we're going to the bottom of the gravel part, of course,
Correct. Yep.
so that if there were enough water to supply the town, certainly be enough water to supply the neighbors as well, if they were in the same area, so.
Yes,
But we'll find out, and I think keep that in mind as we proceed.
definitely.
You get him to say, no, he's all set. Okay, well, if that's the case, then we'll continue our meeting with the reading of the warrants and abatements. Mr. Jennings, please.
Would you like to start with the minutes, and then go warrants and abatements? Is that how you'd like to
You're
proceed?
doing it any way you want,
All
I
right.
guess, so.
Well, I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of June 18th, 2018.
I'll second that for discussion.
Any discussion on these minutes? No, all those in favor then, please say aye.
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 Aye. Unanimous, Sue? I'm looking over there, but you know. What else do you got for us, Mr.
Sign as we
Jennings?
go.
I assume that's the last minutes because that's current, I think so.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the warrants for review and signature as follow. From July 9th, 2018. Commissioner's salary, $400. Town of Charlton electricity, April through June 2018, $20,181.23. Viola, May, emergency services, $720. Viola, May, lab testing 5E and 6W, $184. Toshiba, quarterly copies, February through May 2018, $32.03. Franklin Electric, pumps, $24,587.67. Ty and Bond, Headworks, through 4/28/18, $7,210. Beta, 4/28/18 through 6/1/18, $2,262.12. Beta, 6/2/18 through 6/25/18, $8,386.05. Advantage Enterprises, tree clearing at Buffinville, $7,500. Ty and Bond, Headworks through June 2018, $5,150. Cosgrove and Blatt, services for Buffinville, $441. RAMCO Manufacturing, Glen Echo Pump Station, $1,745. Viola Service, ME, June 2018, $37,335.97. Franklin Electric, handles for pumps, $717.57. Mark D. Abrahams, water rate study, $2,000 even. Total, $118,852.64.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on any of them?
Peter, a question here on a couple of them. So Ty and Bond, where are we on the Headworks? Is that almost done now?
Yes, it's just about complete. I want to review it with John Oatley, and hopefully we can have a discussion or presentation for you at your next meeting when they're here for their MOR.
Okay, and who's Rayco for the Glen Echo Pump Station?
I'd have to see that invoice to see exactly what it is. Steve?
It was a pump?
No, I don't
Was it
believe so.
repair?
It was some type of monitoring device
Okay.
to replace something that we've had previously.
Let me just pull it out.
Oh, it's yours.
Yeah, I saw it.
It'd be down towards the bottom, maybe.
Keep my eye on it.
You just don't want to mix it up with the rest of the.
1745,
Oh, that's a fact.
Rayco.
It's an auto dialer? Okay, Steve, thank you. Auto dialer. Obviously, it needed to be replaced.
Yes.
Okay, all right, I got the answer. Thank you.
Would you like to say it?
Nope.
Just when I found it.
Okay, have a vote on that, Paul?
You're all set with you. You said you had a
All set,
couple of
I
concerns,
was,
and
it
you
was
want to
two.
mention the Ty and Bond, which is my concern
Then
too.
the Rayco was the other.
Any other concerns on any of those warrants? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And on the abatements, is that,
There's no abatements.
there's no abatements?
There's no
Okay,
abatements.
perfect.
Okay,
Except
I
for your
believe
first
this is the
agenda.
whole package right here.
Okay, we
Let's
have
go back to,
no scheduled
No
appointments.
scheduled appointments tonight.
okay.
No abatements, so, oh, you know, at our last meeting, we had a thunderstorm and tornado warnings out there, but McClure from McClure Engineering, Chris McClure, was gonna come and talk to us about the sinkholes on Carpenter Hill Road.
Yes.
Do you have any update on those?
He's still waiting to talk with the highway superintendent. After they dug them out, when they were in the process of digging them, they were able to relieve all of the flow that was kind of capped off from overgrowth or whatever the problem was. Jerry is happy that the drainage has been reestablished for now, and that he'll talk with Chris after Jerry's not busy during his summer months with all this paving that's beginning, and try and work with Chris to get a fix done for the fall, before winter comes. So
Okay.
it's on hold for a little bit until Chris and Jerry can coordinate what the best way to fix it is, because I think we'll save quite a bit having Jerry do that work for us, rather than having to hire an
Sure,
outside
that'd be
contractor.
great, yeah.
But also during the dry season would be the best time to make that repair.
Yes.
But I certainly understand the highway's got a lot going on.
So probably towards the end of August, maybe into September, hopefully, still in the dry time.
Okay, next on the list, we have Valley Green Grow. Would you,
We have the FY19 senior abatements.
oh,
It's not approving any specific abatements, it's just those who qualify for the abatement program.
yep,
So if you look at the list that Sue has attached in the packet, we had 31 applicants for the FY19 year. We're just looking to see if you guys would vote to approve them. All of these applicants provided all the information needed to make them qualify for the program.
So Peter, in general, you can make the statement, if you fill out the application correctly, you'll be approved.
Definitely.
Okay. Just so for people to know.
Yeah, the application has all a checklist of everything that's required, so as long as they can get the application filled out, they'll qualify.
Make a motion that we accept the list for July, August, and September of 2018.
Can I just
Second.
make a comment?
Second on
The
it.
list that you have and the list that you're gonna be signing with Peter, there was one addition.
Okay.
So there's 32 on the one that Peter has?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, 31 here, so,
Fine.
It's gonna be for the full fiscal year 2019. And then as we do the billing, we'll
Okay, and now
apply
that I
the
read that.
abatement to these for your approval for the amounts.
So it will start this fiscal year of
we'll start in about
2019.
2.5 weeks.
So the next
July.
quarter, so it'll
Yeah.
be July, August, and
Of the
September.
18th and then all the way through. Let me
Okay.
ask you, excuse me for a
Go
second,
ahead.
Paul. If you get on the list, or let me put it this way, do you have to, or is there a limited time when you can get on the list? Do you have to get on the list now, and if you don't get on now, you gotta wait for the next merry-go-around?
That's not the way we have done it since I've been here.
So people can
We've
come
allowed
up.
people to come
Sure.
in mid-year.
Okay,
You
And-
could turn 65 in 2 months, you know?
okay, that's one of the,
Yeah.
that's one of the
Be,
requirements, okay.
And also, if somebody was late, we've allowed them to come on midway through. It doesn't make sense to penalize them if they've forgotten to get their paperwork in and make them wait till
Yeah.
June 30th to qualify for the next fiscal year.
Okay, let's see, we had a motion and a second. Any other discussion on the senior abatements? If not, please say aye if you're in favor of it.
Aye.
Aye?
I second.
Rusted. Okay, now we got Valley Green Grow.
Valley Green Grow, as you're aware, they're looking to do a marijuana grow facility at Charlton Orchards. The developers reached out to me through the town administrator to talk about the possibility of having public water and sewer available to them. At this point, the discussion was very preliminary. He has their engineers trying to identify what their actual usage would be for both water and sewer, so that we can really get a good idea of if or not we can accommodate them. I just wanted to put that out in front of the board and see if you guys were interested in participating at this time, if you wanted to vote a subcommittee of 2 members to work through this process with me, or if you wanted me to just get the initial phase done, and as we start to develop, if it starts to develop into more of a possibility of them getting the connection, you can get involved then.
Through the chair.
Well, they're already on sewer, and they will shortly, in a year or two, be on water. So I think our concern
We
is
do
how,
have a- But as far as being on sewer, there is a moratorium in place.
Correct. There's a moratorium in place, so they're not guaranteed the ability to connect to
well, it
sewer.
would depend
Well,
on
it's
how
up to
much.
10,000, isn't it,
Yeah,
Peter?
doesn't it depend how much they're gonna be giving us, and we need that figure from them.
Correct. I think not only how much, but also what the strength of their waste is and what
Yeah.
type of constituents we're gonna be getting. So I don't think it can be just a straight gallons per day. It has to be,
Right,
what type,
exactly.
what's the gallons per day and what's the strength that we're gonna be expected for us to truly understand if we're capable of handling it.
Right. You would have to do analysis of the strength
Yep.
to determine the true flow.
And I think just when I received the question from Peter, I mean, at this point in time, I fully believe in your capabilities to deal with them, and naturally, if the workload becomes to the volume of you needing assistance, and then naturally we'd discuss it at that point in time, but we're not there yet, I imagine.
No, it's very preliminary, but again,
Right.
I didn't want to get too far and have you guys say, well, I would have liked to have been involved from a little bit before this, so.
I agree with the premise that Russ is making, is that I think it may be a little premature to start putting subcommittees together.
Okay.
Might not be a bad idea if it does begin
Sure.
to roll, but I think it's kind of quiet right now.
So I'll just keep on sending updates via email, and if you think we're getting far enough along where you guys want to get involved, just let me know.
Are they modeling what they want to do after some facility that already exists, like in Colorado or wherever?
I don't-
So, I mean, they might have some idea of what strength and they're going to be sending us, so they can give us that answer.
I'm sure the processes they're going to use, they are used in other areas, and they could probably get an idea of what type of waste we're going to be getting from them, or what type of water they're going to need, but until the engineer actually puts something in front of us, it's tough to really say yes, no, or maybe, so.
If I may ask, Peter, with your schooling that you've had in the last 6 months to 8 months, do you recall anything that restricts property owners from the amount of water they can take from the ground?
On a private well?
On private property, private well?
No. Most of the schooling is all for municipal stuff.
It's all for municipal?
Not for private well, or what would trigger that well. Not from schooling, but I believe there is a gallon per day a lot figure. I don't know if it's 80,000 or 100,000 gallons per day that triggers something with the DEP where they have to become some type of regulated well.
You mean for a private person?
Even for,
who's-
no matter who you are, if you're taking more than, say, 80,000 gallons per day from the ground, you have to register as some type of,
Okay, so that's your
Public well.
recollection that
there is a number. I
that
can
regulation
give
may
you.
exist out there?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Even
good
though it's not
information.
for municipal or business. But, I mean, I guess a private entity with a private well, because I know there's a company in Oxford that if they bump up against, if they went over 80,000 gallons or 100,000 gallons per day, they had to register with the state to let them know they're producing that type of water from the ground. And that would cause them to have the smaller, I guess, protection radius, and also have to
Okay.
monitor the surrounding areas to make sure that the residents around it aren't being negatively impacted.
Good. Thank you.
If you can, would you mind double
I'll look
checking on
that
that?
up.
And
Yep.
That way we could have a number attached with it and be able to say,
Yep.
knowing in advance of the situation that's potentially coming.
Definitely.
Vacation request?
Yes, I was just wondering if you folks would approve the vacation request for that first week in August for myself. Be Tuesday, July 31st through Friday, August 3rd.
I'll make a motion that we approve the vacation request for July 31st through August 3rd.
We have a second on that?
Yeah, we have a second. What's that, 4 days, Peter?
Yes. Monday,
And
Monday I'm gonna take a bereavement day. The rest of the week will be
Okay,
vacation.
yep, that's right.
any discussion on that?
Nope.
Reasons why not? Barring none, I'll ask all those in favor to, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Old business?
We do have one thing that came up today. There's a lot that was it's been previously created that wants to connect to sewer on Stevens Park Road. There's no betterment assessed with it, so they have to pay a privilege fee. So the initial step is for the commission to vote a privilege fee to the lot number and the book and page, and then we take those minutes, once approved, and bring the form to the assessors, and they go through the process of starting that privilege fee being attached to the property. So the piece of property, the map block and lot is there, the book and page is there, and that's the owner.
Okay.
And Peter, the plan is for a single-family home?
Yes, single-family home,
Pretty straightforward.
yes.
So it's
$8,200.
$8,200.
One
Yep.
EDU, yeah.
Want me to read it?
Just map block.
Map 17A-G-38, book and page, book number 58369, page 181. Applicant's name Peter Haig Jr., 71 Stevens Park Road, Charlton, Mass. 01507. Fee of $8,200. Make a motion that we, what is it, to start the privilege fee
Assess.
process or assess it?
Yeah.
Make a motion that we assess the privilege fee for this address
$8,200.
in the amount of $8,200.
Second.
Any other discussion on that? Should be straightforward. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Superintendent report.
Superintendent's report. Okay, so Burlingame Road, the construction started the week of June 25th. They took off the week of July 4th because of the holiday being in the middle of the week.
Very fun.
Oh, Berry Corner Road, sorry. Thank you.
They took the whole week off?
Last week, yes, they took the whole week off. So they did
God bless
approximately,
America. Yeah,
Hey.
okay.
they did approximately 700 linear feet of pipe the first week they were there, and they started back up today, so. They're going pretty good. Steve's been up there quite a bit, checking here and there and making sure everything's going well. And he says they're doing good work, so. That's started, and hopefully it'll get done fairly soon and with minimal interruption to the residents in the area.
Peter, have you gone up there at all?
Yeah.
I just happened to take a ride this afternoon just to get an idea. I'm somewhat impressed with the patch, the temporary
Yes.
patch. Why are those water pipes so dirty? You
Probably
agree?
because it rained that much, and where they set them.
It kind of looked like mud splashes up all
Yeah,
over.
could have been from some of the heavier rain or how
Okay,
they rolled
okay.
off of the truck.
I'm sure they're getting them all cleaned
Or
up.
where they stored them.
Yeah.
Ty and Bond does have a resident engineer on site. He's there full-time monitoring everything. I forwarded you a copy of the progress
Yeah, we
reports
got
he's
that.
sending, so
Yep.
we're gonna get daily logs from him. And I'll also forward you the monthly progress reports from the meetings we have with Ty and Bond and the town of Southbridge. So,
When you speak with them, the engineers who are doing the checklist, can you ask them what their testing procedure is going to be? What are they going to do as far as testing those? the
For
actual
pressure?
water line? Yep.
Okay.
Mhm. Are they gonna test at X number of feet? You know,
I think Sin wish they tested X number of feet.
Yes, I believe they're planning on testing, if not X number of feet, at least within a time frame, so they don't get too far ahead of themselves before they figure out what's going on, in case there is a problem. But I'll figure out what that, I'll ask them tomorrow during the meeting.
And one more thing, Mr. Chairman. Peter, they're only going to have one crew working on this?
For now,
as
they
right
might
now?
add another crew after.
Okay,
They might have this crew keep doing line and have the next crew come in and follow them doing the laterals.
okay.
But as of now, it's only one crew. Moving on to the Route 169 pump station. R.H. White plans on mobilizing Wednesday, July 11th, and they're gonna start by beginning with the installation of erosion control and clearing the land, and plan on start actual construction towards the end of July into August of the pump station. Boffinville, the well driller mobilized today. They actually got the north well drilled down, they went 87 feet down to refusal. Unfortunately, there was only about 3 feet of good gravelly dirt that might have allowed us to kind of flow some water, and that's not sufficient enough for a municipal well. So that first site is pretty much a no-go. Tomorrow, they're gonna mobilize to the second site and hopefully have better luck there, and I'll let you know how that goes. The EPA, the IPP seminar I attended, the week of June 25th and on the 26th. There was quite a bit of information presented. It was 12 hours of PowerPoint presentations. They're supposed to be emailing the actual PowerPoint presentations till I can get that information into a cleaner format to report back to you. The full IPP program, they said, was basically designed for plants that treat 5 million gallons per day or more. It's pretty intense to develop and probably takes a year just to get the program developed. I think in reading through our bylaws again after I went, I believe a lot of the tools that they use, we can implement without going through the EPA to initiate a full IPP program, but do something under our own bylaws and require the testing that's necessary based on what we're seeing at the plant for flows, what we're seeing for loads, and what we have for information coming out of the headworks analysis. We can identify some areas and some customers where their flows aren't very well equalized and are causing us problems at the plant. So we can probably do, it's called an IPP light program that will work for us without having to create a whole nother program to report back to the EPA on an annual basis, and just work it ourselves with our operator and start discussing it with our non-domestic users and see what we're getting for flows and concentrations, so that we can identify where the strength of the waste is coming from. We definitely have some initial ideas based on what's there. And I think, again, after the headworks analysis, when we determine what's going on there, we can sit down and make some phone calls and open up the doors for discussion with a couple of users to start, and then follow through to kind of the lower use users, and just trickle it down and implement the same type of program for everybody.
Peter, you mentioned that or at least what I thought I heard, is the threshold by EPA is 5 million gallons a day?
What they recommend for the true IPP program, yes.
Okay, all right,
That
all
they,
right.
I believe an EPA sanctioned IPP program is mandated if you're 5 million gallons per day or more.
Okay, so, because of where are we? We're at
.45.
Yeah, 450. So it's not mandated
No.
by EPA?
No, not at all.
Okay,
But again, I think there's some good tools in the program.
There is some good
that work
tools.
within our bylaws that we can piggyback on and use that to, again, work with the non-domestic users. Because right now, we only sample 4, and there's quite a few more. And I think the more information we can get from them, I think the better off the operator will be able to run the plant and not have to worry about, I guess, the uneven load, flow loads.
IPP program, thank you.
Sewer billing, the meter reads were done on Monday, July 2nd. Steve and I went out, read the meters. There were 3 that we couldn't read for just MXU issues, and Peter Starkus is gonna go fix those for us in the next week or so. Once we get the reads from Southbridge, we'll be able to complete the billing, hopefully around the end of the month or the beginning of August.
And that puts you in good shape, time-wise?
Yeah, that'll put us 5 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks from the reading, so.
We're still waiting for Southbridge.
We can't do anything until Southbridge. We can't even have you guys
No,
approve
no, of
the
course not.
abatements
No.
until we get the Southbridge reads, so. We reached out to them last week, earlier this week, and they said hopefully by the end of this month, so.
Okay.
And the headworks analysis, as I said, Ty and Bond, they've completed it. I want to review it and go over it with John Oatley, and then have a discussion with the commission when they're here at our next meeting to talk about their MOR, and talk about, again, the headworks analysis was one thing, but the discussion that took place between Veolia and Ty and Bond was pretty interesting to hear them talk about how to operate the plant, where to keep the level of the EQ tanks, and some other stuff that they weren't really thinking about doing it that way. So there was quite a bit of discussion that took place that was beneficial. And the headworks analysis itself is pretty technical, but hopefully it has some good stuff that we'll be able to take out of it and identify where we can do some capital improvements to make the plant more efficient.
Because Ty and Pond is the one who did the last
Yes.
build-out
Yep.
of the improvement. Okay.
Other than that, I think that's all.
Old business is a couple things. Did you have a chance to talk to our accountant?
Finance director?
Yeah,
Yes.
a balance, do we have any balances?
Not yet.
No balances?
No.
No balances?
No.
And how about interest on the money that we have there?
I haven't got an answer.
Okay. And,
I believe I forwarded some of her emails, the responses that I've gotten.
okay, and then the transfer of the money from one account to the other account?
For the
The-
Kevin Pecos money?
Yeah.
We can, yes, we're gonna have to request that on our own. But again, Kevin Pecos did quite a bit of work for sewer while he was here, so do you wanna do half of that, or do you wanna do his full amount?
I think it's it's what we had voted for. It's
That
the
was
full amount.
But
Yeah.
maybe we're trying to get too much. Better luck of getting half.
I
Well, no,
don't-
first of all, Paul, it's our money, it's just in a
Well-
different account. And what happens is, it is shortchanging the sewer account, is what it's doing.
No.
But again, not if he did work for the sewer, then that should have been paid from the sewer.
I didn't see that much work, other than those green binders down there with,
Okay.
with information that
Huh.
is just redundant.
The last email I got from Donna regarding the stabilization account, from what I could read through it, she's gonna try and incorporate everything into one ledger and then keep them separate there and put the interest with the balance associated with that account. For some reason, I haven't been able to get a balance of what we have in the enterprise account. She said she's not able to give it to us yet. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
I've asked quite a few times, so.
I mean,
I-
it seems odd.
I
I
can't,
know it's not like
I
on
don't have a
Country
good,
Bank or-
I don't have an answer for you. I know a
Yeah.
statement comes in from Country Bank that says sewer enterprise fund on it, account,
Well, actually, is that Country Bank?
so
I just pulled that out, that's all, but really.
I don't know why we haven't been able to get it. Something to do with money wasn't put in correctly or taken out correctly, or, so I don't think she believes the balance on the statement is accurate, so she doesn't want to give us that balance. She has to look back and see how the money was previously taken out or put in, because she says that previously they weren't doing it correctly.
Didn't we just get the funds within the town certified in
Yes.
June or July or whenever it was?
Our retained earnings. I don't,
Well,
that-
no, it would be the entire town.
The
entire
town got their
That's certified. So when you get certified, I'm assuming that it means that you have a list of accounts and you get balances. We can't have those?
That's,
Gosh almighty,
I've asked and I haven't gotten them yet.
sounds like Congress asking the Department of Justice for stuff. Gosh.
On some more old business stuff, is Steve keeping track of his time on the water lines on,
No, I can have him track his time separate. if you want.
okay. And we're still interested in that, 200,000 question?
Yes, again, Chris McClure reached out to Mary Jude at the DEP, and again, with the holidays going through and everything, I know she was on vacation, and I don't know if Chris took time, but I'll get back on that to see if Chris can set that up for us.
I always thought it was only Thanksgiving and Christmas you couldn't get anything done. But now we're gonna have to add 4th of July to it.
Yes. Well, again, the end of the fiscal year, so if people have
Sure,
vacation
yeah.
time to burn, they have to use it, so.
What else we got? Any other old business? You already mentioned something that was unknown at the time of posting. That was it?
The
So-
privilege fee, yes. so.
Yep.
And
Russ,
just,
you got something?
no update on Old Worcester Road, or, not, North Sturbridge Road. Nothing has come through as of yet
No,
on that, so, okay.
we're not doing nothing about it, if that's what you want to know.
No,
But we
No.
haven't gotten any concrete information back yet, so.
okay.
I was down the plant this morning and Sue made a call and so, but we didn't get, we're gonna try again tomorrow.
That's what I like to hear, stay on them. So that's,
Mm.
you don't get a phone call back, you make a phone call, that's
Yeah,
the only way to get action.
so that's
You
it.
don't-
We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Record time.
Second,
You make a motion, or you want to entertain
No,
a motion?
I said entertain a motion.
I'll make a
I'm
motion that
choking
we
here.
adjourn at 7:14.
I'll second.
with our next meeting being July 23rd, 2018. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, please say bye. That's-